Man, so many good Final Fantasy games, so many characters, so many memories. You know what would be cool is if I could take all these characters and I could play with them together in one big game where they all join forces and fight evil. And even the villains, that would be fun to have them on the same team too. You know, we've had those fighting games, those were really good, and there was the music rhythm games. But like a great classic turn-based RPG with a party of 3 characters, that would be awesome. What's that? Huh. Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. From Square Enix, Koei Tecmo, and Team Ninja, you say? Let's check this out. Look at that, you got Vivi, Saz, and Rem all working together. That's pretty cool. And oh my god, Vivi's Japanese voice is adorable. And wait a minute, I can play with a party full of just villains? Or even the best girls in all of Final Fantasy? Coming together to fight epic bosses like the Iron Giant, Behemoth, and this, overly snazzy looking cactuar? Huh. Whoa, that game blew me away. And is the sponsor for today's video. Thanks Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. Now before I tell you why the game is actually really fun, let me tell you about the anniversary event they have going on right now. The game is celebrating its 5th anniversary with tons of cool in-game events going on right now, like this Gigantuar hunt going on, as well as a ridiculous amount of free items, including a 50+1 draw event that includes a guaranteed burst weapon, as well as daily 10+1 draws until March 2nd. And whether you're looking to pick this game back up after a while, or you've never played it before, now is the perfect time. Be sure to download the game from my link in the pinned comment or in the description below. Alright, let's get the elephant in the room out of the way first. If you're watching this, you're probably a console game player, and I know you probably don't play a lot of mobile games, but allow me to paint a picture for you. Now imagine, right now it's early February, and you're just maybe finishing up some of these RPGs that just came out, and you're thinking to yourself, you know, I don't know if I have enough time to start and finish another game before the next big one comes out. And here's where I think a game like Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia comes in. I think it can work as a great bridge game. Now, like I said, if you're kind of in that in-between space where it's like, there's a week or two before the next game comes out, I think this is perfect. You can hop in, enjoy some of the story, play some boss battles, and then by the time you kind of got your fill, the next game is ready for you to go. Now, that's not the only scenario. Allow me to paint a few more for you. You know, you just put the casserole in the oven, and you got a few minutes to kill before dinner's ready. You could just knock out a couple battles, do a few bosses, and then you'll be ready to go. Or maybe you're at the office and you got some time in between meetings, you can knock out some battles there too. Now with all that out of the way, let's actually talk about the game itself and why you should consider playing it. For one, it walks you through some really cool story moments. I mean, at the very beginning, you have characters like Rem, Warrior of Light, and Vivi all working together. Now, obviously, they would never encounter each other in their own game, so it's kind of cool to see them interact here. And also, a lot of these characters that never got voices before are now voiced, even though it's only in Japanese. But the real core of the game is its turn-based combat system. So like I said, it is a turn-based combat system, and you can have up to 3 characters in your party at any given time. Now the game has a massive 160 plus character roster, which is just insane. Now the team that I've been playing with has been Lightning, Vivi, and Agrius. Now each character has their own special moveset and set of abilities that are really helpful in combat. For example, Agrius casts Regen on the party and it can heal over time, and I think it even refills your Brave attack points, which I'll touch on in a minute. Vivi just hits hard and has a fire spell that can really do some extra damage against enemies that are weak to fire, and Lightning is just really strong. She hits super hard, probably the hardest of any character in my whole party. Now how does the combat actually work? So first you have Brave attacks and then you have HP attacks, which might be familiar to anyone that played the Dissidia fighting games. So first you'll have to build up your HP attack damage by doing Brave attacks. These won't actually do damage to the enemy, they're kind of just building up how much damage you'll do. And then after that you do the HP attacks, and that will actually reduce the enemy HP points. It sounds a little confusing, but once you play it for just a minute, you'll totally understand it. Now, for the normal enemies, you could probably one-shot them most of the time, although it is really satisfying once you launch them into that wall. It just feels so good. But I feel like where the game shines brightest is in its boss battles. Here you actually have to have some really good strategy and think about like, okay, do I want to save my HP attacks for when they're most vulnerable and I'll be able to do more damage, or do I want to save it and kind of protect myself and make sure my HP is high enough so I don't take too much damage? And also, some of your attacks you can only use so many times per battle, so you have to be really thoughtful on when you want to use them. Now for these, you could just auto battle your way through and you might win, but honestly, I think the fun is actually choosing your attacks and figuring out what you actually want to do, not to mention you'll get more bonus items after the battle is over. Now because the game showers you with weapon draws from the anniversary events, which will award you with the corresponding characters if you haven't obtained them in the story yet, it was fun to try a bunch of different characters that I may not have normally tried. Like Lightning, for example. Now, I actually like Lightning a lot, but in the game, I was kind of surprised at how powerful she was. So, depending on what your roster is, try some characters that you might not normally try. You might be surprised at how good they are in battle. Now, I think my total roster of characters right now is somewhere like in the 60 plus range, and at some point, I thought I just broke the game and I glitched it out or something like that. And it turns out that characters are enhanced to level 70 and summons are enhanced to level 20 after clearing chapter 1. Wow, that was really surprising and really generous. So if you're coming in and don't want to spend any money, man, you can get a ton of characters and you'll get maxed out real quick. Now, the only downside to this is that it kind of makes the game early on a little too easy, but you can turn the game on hard mode and you will unlock more story chapters a little bit further along than you probably would have been normally that will be more of an appropriate challenge. Because I know as console gamers, as some of you guys watching out there, we want a real challenge. So to me, my suggestion would be turn it on hard mode, maybe skip ahead a couple chapters and find a nice balance that works for you. Now, while I genuinely find the game pretty fun, there are a couple things that I find just a little bit annoying. First of all, every time you boot the game up, it just showers you and just bombards you with different updates that are happening. So before I can start the game, I feel like I have to X out like 4 or 5 different things before I can really start playing. And then the next thing is, temporarily at least, it seems like there is this 2 times XP little indicator over your characters. So as I'm scrolling through, I can't even tell who my characters are because it flashes that 2 times XP thing for a second and I have to sit there and wait like, okay, it goes away. Oh, that's who the character is. So I wish there was a way to turn that off. Maybe there is, I don't know. But as I was just trying to enjoy the game and just cycle through my characters and figure out who I wanted to have in my party next, it was just a little bit frustrating and annoying to wait for that little icon to go away. And again, I just want to be clear, Square did not tell me to say anything in this video outside of mentioning what's going on with the anniversary event. So these are my real genuine feelings and my real words. So, you know, if you found the game interesting and you thought this might be a good bridge game or just a fun little time killer in between things going on in your life, consider downloading the game. Like I said, I've got a link in the description as well as the pinned comment down below. And once again, I want to thank Square Enix and DISSIDIA Final Fantasy Opera Omnia for sponsoring this video. And if you want some more raw, uncut gameplay, I did do a live stream last week where I played for an hour. So if you kind of want to see me playing the game just totally unedited and raw, go check out that video. I'll have it linked on the screen somewhere here. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.